Mr. Calhoun throws a curveball, challenging Amia's paternity and claiming that Ms. Prout played a masterful game of guess who's your daddy with him. He's convinced she tricked him into playing the father figure, citing her social calendar with other men as Exhibit A. Ms. Prout, on the other hand, stands firm, insisting Mr. Calhoun is indeed the MVP, most valuable parent here, accusing him of trying to dodge the child support ball after it's been squarely thrown in his court. The stage is set, the players are ready, and the game of who's the daddy begins with high stakes and even higher tensions. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next revelation is just around the corner, and you won't believe what's coming up next.
Mr. Calhoun, you say the defendant tried to trick you into believing you are her daughter Amia's biological father. But after uncovering evidence that she slept with other men, you are positive the DNA will prove you are not. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
In a turn of events that feels like a scripted plot twist, Mr. Calhoun lays out his grand escape plan, revealing his attempts to moonwalk out of Ms. Prout's life upon the realization that she was aiming for a duet for life, not just a one-hit wonder. Despite their ongoing nocturnal rendezvous, Ms. Prout confirms their tangled sheets and even more tangled emotions, showcasing a relationship that's less casual and more, it's complicated. This exchange spotlights the emotional roller coaster and physical labyrinth that define their connection, turning it into a primetime soap opera worthy of popcorn. And believe it or not, the emotional twists only spiral further from here. But hold on, because the saga takes a wilder turn just moments away.
Because she wanted to get serious.
Because she wanted to get serious, yes, ma'am.
So you wanted to get serious with him, Miss Prout?
Yes, Your Honor, I did, but he did make it understandable that's not what he wanted. But we continually to have sex, and I was cool with it. We were still messing around. I was still going back and forth to his house, and we continued to have unprotected sex.
Can you feel the tension rising? Because it's about to get even thicker. Ms. Prout shares the moment she discovered she was pregnant, and Mr. Calhoun's initial disbelief was so strong, he could have powered a small city with it, leading to his demand for a DNA test. Mr. Calhoun counters with accusations of Ms. Prout's alleged plot to conceive using fertility medication, suggesting a conspiracy theory that might even make the flat earthers blush, adding layers of mistrust and accusation to the case. This moment intensifies the dispute, showcasing the deep-seated issues between the parties involved, turning their relationship into something that could rival a soap opera plotline. The stakes are high, and what happens next will leave you speechless. Just when you think it can't get any crazier, the plot twists again.
I told him and showed him the test, but we were both in disbelief.
That's not true, Your Honor.
We were both in disbelief, Your Honor, that I was pregnant. He said he didn't believe me, but he wanted a DNA test.
So he asked for a DNA test?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
Do you remember asking for a DNA test?
I asked for a DNA test, but not when she's saying I did, Your Honor.
Well, when did you ask for it?
After I found out that she said she was pregnant, I blocked her on all social media and everything, because I thought she was crazy. She called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
As if we're on a roller coaster that only goes up, a pivotal moment arises when Mr. Calhoun recounts being coerced into signing the birth certificate despite his doubts about paternity. He describes feeling manipulated by Ms. Prout during a vulnerable time, making him feel like he was in a reality TV show where the plot twist was his life, exacerbating the tension between them. This event highlights the legal and emotional complexities surrounding paternity and the responsibility it entails, adding a spicy twist to the drama that could make even seasoned drama enthusiasts grab their popcorn. Just when you think it can't get any more intense, the next twist turns everything on its head. But wait, there's more drama unfolding in the wings.
How did you get on the birth certificate?
I got on the birth certificate because upon getting a call from Kia, remember, I never had any contact with Kia for the whole 9 months she was pregnant.
So you didn't have any contact.
No contact.
All right.
I get a call from Kia on the day her water is broken. She's saying,
no, you did not.
You have a daughter being born. Do you want to come up here and see your daughter being born? I came to the hospital just to see if she was pregnant. I never believed that she was pregnant. And she's laying there, the baby's in the nursery, and she's doing her paperwork. She says, I'm doing this paperwork. I said, I don't know if this is my daughter. I want a DNA test.
So how did you end up signing the birth certificate?
Oh, okay, Your Honor. So we're in there by herself. I told her I didn't want to sign without a DNA test. So she gets to, basically making me feel like a bad guy. Like, you know you had unprotected sex with me. You know that's your daughter. I even look at the papers and see, she didn't even have my last name as the daughter's last name.
You won't believe your eyes as the testimony of Ms. Prout's godsister, Ms. Dawson, introduces a new perspective, suggesting that Ms. Prout might have been pregnant before rekindling her relationship with Mr. Calhoun. Her account challenges Ms. Prout's narrative, injecting further doubt and complicating the determination of paternity, making the plot thicken like a mystery novel where everyone's a suspect. This testimony adds an external viewpoint to the dispute, underscoring the difficulties in discerning the truth, turning the courtroom into a stage for a drama that Shakespeare himself might have applauded for its intricate plot twist. twists. The climax is nearing, and it promises to be nothing short of spectacular. Brace yourselves, because the grand finale is up next.
Demetria Dawson.
Ms. Dawson, you are what relationship to Miss Prout?
God sister.
You are her god sister.
Yes, ma'am.
Please explain to the court.
My god sister was having unprotected sex with another man. Also, before he came into the picture, myself and also other members felt that my god sister was already pregnant because of her demeanor.
What do you mean?
Her mood changed. She was very moved. So when he did come into the picture, they had unprotected sex, of course.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, the climax of the episode sneaks up on us like a cat chasing a laser dot, finally crashing into the big reveal of the DNA test.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Calhoun, you are the father.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Ms. Rubin and her sister throw the legal book at Mr. Davis, the dude who's supposedly their dad, accusing him of suddenly playing the amnesia card about his paternity. They claim he's dodging dad duties, not because he forgot their birthdays, but because he's got dollar signs in his eyes, turning the family tree into a battleground.
Ms. Rubin, you and your sister are here today because you say the defendant, Mr. Davis, the man you've always been told was your dad, is now stating that he is not your biological father. You say his actions are motivated by greed and he has torn your family apart.
Then things heat up faster than a microwave dinner when the topic turns to Mr. Davis's treatment of Cheryl Rubin, the alleged progeny. The courtroom turns into a Jerry Springer set as accusations about Ms. Rubin's mom's romantic resume come into play. Mr. Davis plays the fidelity doubt card like a seasoned poker player, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, he had a reason to pass on playing catch in the backyard and tucking everyone in at night.
Mr. Davis, you believe their mother had slept around and was unfaithful to you. You were in a relationship at the time.
No, I didn't express it to her.
You just always kept it to yourself.
I kept it to myself.
Mr. Davis, I need to know from you whether ever were in all of their lives as a father. Were you ever just there?
No. Were you talking to me?
I was talking to you.
Then shut up.
Now you no.
You shut up.
Mr. Davis, first of all, I control this courtroom. Now you can take it to the street and you'll be out on the street because we're not gonna act a fool in here. Now you came to get some answers and I'm gonna try to give it to you. Don't think for 1 minute that I am minimizing the pain and the anguish and the absolute frustration that I see all of you feel.
As I said before, their mother slept around.
Okay.
Slept around. When we first got together, when I first met her, she was working at a restaurant. That's when I first started. Of course, I slept around too before I met her.
Okay.
So, it wasn't like I was a deadbeat, as they may want to presume that I was, but I was not a deadbeat.
Then, like a plot twist in a reality TV show, the spotlight swings to Mr. Davis's wallet, or more accurately, what's not in it. The conversation dives into his financial contributions and the legendary, possibly mythical creature known as alleged child support debt. This part of the tale shines a harsh spotlight on the financial squabbles and emotional baggage weighing down the family, stirring up more drama than a season finale cliffhanger.
That has nothing to do with what's going on now.
While we was having a relationship, I don't believe I believe the judge and stuff. Okay,
Why sit right there and act like
that's
everything
on me.
cool?
That's
Like
on me.
graduation.
I own
That was
that.
the
Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question?
Everything you ever
Can I
did.
answer
If you
your question?
Let her speak.
I
want to
asked
explain
you.
to you.
I asked you. 2005. That's the last time I seen your face. It's 2013. I asked you. I said, all you gotta do, I forgive you for everything you ever done wrong to me. If you doubted me or whatever the case is, show up to my graduation. You can say I'm lying or whatever. I can tell my brother right here to vouch for it. You told me yes.
At the end of the day, when you called to confirm or when you walked that stage, he wasn't
At all.
She alleged
He's
to
never
call.
been
She
there.
never called me. She never called me, period. And
The Lord is gonna send you straight to hell
well,
with these lies.
we won't be going. I won't be going
swear to
alone.
God.
Enter Cheryl Rubin, whose heartbreak could give the world's saddest violin tune a run for its money. Her story peels back the layers of her yearning for a dad's hug and a gold star of approval. The scene is so thick with emotions, you'd need a machete to cut through it. Mr. Davis's legacy, now looking more like a cautionary tale, leaves a mark on his kid's self-worth and the family's vibe, proving that actions speak louder than words, especially if those actions are dodgy at best.
But you're saying that this happened throughout the relationship. Why so much difference when it comes to Miss Rubin? Cheryl, why so much difference when it comes to her?
As I explained to you before, Anna, I had my doubts because their mother slept around. But
But
before
why
me,
do you act that doubt out? Why is
I
it
treated
that
Jonathan-
your doubt is projected onto
I
her
treated Jonathan
singly?
and Janita. I treated her like gold, just like my oldest child.
If I'm your golden child, you would have been there for your golden child. Every time I talk to him, he ain't got no money
You
to do
never
nothing.
talked to me.
You was a lie.
No, talk to
And as
the
that,
court.
how to treat guys, I gotta treat me. So, you know, I look the guys like for love and everything. It's just like he have not been there.
So you were sleeping around, you were promiscuous, you could not.
Apple don't fall too far from the
You
tree.
feel like you were looking for a father? Leave it alone and talk to me because he's showing who he is by his statement.
The DNA test results are unveiled.
It has been determined by this court that, Mr. Davis, you are the father. So this can be a laughing matter maybe to you, but I am hoping that you can support your sister Cheryl.
Welcome to Hanger Veers Babbitt, where Ms. Hanger is chasing Mr. Babbitt for child support for their daughter, Chloe. Meanwhile, Mr. Babbitt is dodging faster than in a game of dodgeball, demanding a DNA test because he swears he's not the daddy. Just when you think it can't get more heated, the drama escalates.
Ms. Hanger, you claim the defendant has already been placed on child support for your daughter, Chloe, and therefore there is no reason to administer a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've dragged him to court to order he pay the support he has been neglecting. Mr. Babbitt, you petitioned the court to order a DNA test because you are 100% certain that you are not her child's father and claim to have proof to support your case.
Ms. Hanger throws shade at Mr. Babbitt, branding him a high-maintenance, arrogant brat, and insists that Chloe is basically his mini-me. Mr. Babbitt, on the flip side, argues that looking like him doesn't necessarily mean he's the father. After all, coincidences happen, like finding socks that match in the laundry. And believe me, you haven't seen anything yet.
I mean, goodness, how did you end up on child support?
I defaulted, I suppose, as they say, because I didn't get served. They dropped papers off on my porch, or on my grandmother's porch, and...
No, I showed the paper, seen the paperwork from them. It's Jane Doe signed it, but that legally states that you received this paperwork, saying that you were going to get it. You were automatically
But they
involved.
said that? Or did you say that dropping the paperwork off, not talking to you?
No, they showed me the paperwork. If somebody's signing...
Okay, so there was no coincidence that after you showed up on my
said- I
porch,
asked them.
and then when I go get
So
something to
did
drink
you
10
get
minutes
the
later...
paperwork, Mr. Babbitt?
A sneaky attempt to clue in Mr. Babbitt about the DNA test via papers left on his porch backfires spectacularly. He treated those papers like unwanted door-to-door sales flyers, leading to him being defaulted into child support faster than he could say not it. And the drama doesn't stop there.
So the bottom line is there was an attempt to notify you, and you did get the paperwork that said show up for a DNA test as it relates to baby
I've also
Chloe.
seen paperwork saying I want a free iPod. That doesn't mean it's true.
All right, you can be a smart mouth if you want, but you the one on child support.
Mr. Babbitt dishes on his bewilderment and distrust towards the child support papers, suspecting a scam because they didn't come through an official-looking mail. The judge, playing the role of reality check, points out Mr. Babbitt's responsibility to Chloe, scam or no scam. You won't believe what comes next.
So this is paperwork that shows that you are supposed to pay $272.50 per month child support.
I actually never got the paper. Here's the paperwork that I got. It was to my restaurant, and it was stated, it says you're supposed to be paying child support for Chloe Hanger. Didn't give a middle name, didn't give a social security number. On the birthday panel...
They're not going to give you her social security
Why,
number.
if I'm the father?
Ms. Hanger, I want to understand what he's saying because I want to understand how a grown man gets paperwork from a court that he doesn't honor. You felt like it was like something fraudulent?
Well, yeah, if I would have got a letter that had it like postmarking on it, you know, that went through the mail, that would have made me feel a whole lot better about it, but I didn't.
Dive into the backstory of Miss Hanger and Mr. Babbitt's rocky romance, featuring reckless rendezvous and Mr. Babbitt's doubts about his fatherhood. He's as convinced he's the dad as he is about winning the lottery, skeptical thanks to Ms. Hanger's mysterious moves and a questionable roommate situation. Hold on, because what's coming is even more jaw-dropping.
This relationship began, was it committed? Were you also sleeping with other people?
I met him through my roommate. He'd hung out a couple of times, played video games, listened to music, all that stuff, and then everything went on from there.
So the bottom line is you two were intimate.
Yes.
At some point.
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No, never.
All right, Mr. Babbitt, do you think at the time she was sleeping with you that she was also sleeping with someone else?
Yeah, the other roommate, yeah, because he was super jealous when I first showed up there.
What?
The court drops a bombshell with a lie detector test that smells deceit from Ms. Hanger about her fidelity, which she denies with the fierceness of a reality TV star caught in a scandal. Yet, the plot demands a DNA test. But wait, the climax will leave you speechless.
You know what I mean? And then the other thing was talking about the size of her female anatomy, and it lined up, and he did.
This is new to me. I've never heard this. I don't know how exactly you can even...
When you found out you were pregnant, you told Mr. Babbitt because that was the only person you were sleeping with?
Yes, I had not slept with anybody else prior to him for a year with my ex-boyfriend.
So you had never slept with anybody else but Mr. Babbitt during that window of time?
Well, you were sneaking out in the middle of the night doing something.
I was not sneaking out anywhere. The only time I get out of bed is to go to the
Yes, and you wouldn't come back for an hour.
In the blockbuster ending, it turns out Mr. Babbitt is...
When it comes to 17-month-old Chloe Hanger, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Roy Babbitt, you are her father.
Luke, huh?
All I want is an apology for her.
I don't owe you any apology.
You owe me an apology for denying her.
Come on, dude.
I've told you from day one.
Yeah, it's my child now, but it wasn't then. I mean, I could
It was
You've been your
too then.
child since conception.
Mr. Streety drops a bombshell in court, his eyes wide as saucers as he spills the beans on why he's dragging Ms. Johnson to court. Imagine his horror when he discovers Ms. Johnson's spooky rendezvous with a coworker wasn't just for scares at a haunted house, but led to some real-life horror, questioning if he's really the daddy of little Zeandre, who's already mastering the art of walking at 13 months. Now, he's not just looking to erase his name from the birth certificate, but also to make Ms. Johnson foot the bill for the whiteout. But just when you think you've seen it all, the plot thickens.
Mr. Streety, you say you got spooked when you found out that your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Johnson, cheated with a man she worked with at a haunted house. You have dragged the defendant into court today to prove that you are not her 13-month-old son, Zeandre's father.
Did anyone see this coming? In a plot twist, Mr. Streety takes us back to the good old days when he was all in, ready to play daddy to Ms. Johnson's kids, even though the stork hadn't tagged him in the delivery of the first one. It's like he was auditioning for the role of super stepdad, cape and all, showing that his heart was bigger than his logic from the get-go.
Kids' fathers weren't really there. I'm a good man. I felt like that was a role I was gonna have to take on if I wanted to be with her.
So wait, let me be clear. So you took on the role of father for a child you knew wasn't yours. When you met her, she was pregnant.
Yeah, plus their older siblings too.
And the older sister.
It's not like you didn't know.
But you signed the birth certificate of the first child.
Mr. Streety then turns the courtroom into a history lesson, rolling out a timeline that's more tangled than last year's Christmas lights. He talks about eyebrow-raising sightings and questionable timelines that would make anyone's head spin, let alone a baby's. It's like he's trying to solve a mystery, except there's a baby involved, and not just a missing cookie from the cookie jar. And just when you think the twists are over, the unexpected happens.
We have a timeline here. Moved in together in or around April. This is her parents' house. This is one of their property, okay? All of her bills, automatically my responsibilities.
No, they
All right?
weren't.
Hold
He
your
got
thoughts.
his name.
Hold your thoughts. Thank you. Here we go. We're moving through here. After amidst of all of that going on, I'm getting tired of being accused of things that I'm not doing. So I move out. Not even a few weeks later, see her at the gas station around the street from my brother's house. Who was that you were riding with? Hold that thought. Couple weeks later, I'm at my uncle's house.
Wait a minute, saw with other man. That's
Yeah.
the red car? And what did you see when you saw that?
I saw them at the gas station at a pump. She just chilling in the truck. As a matter of fact, this person that she's with, if this was such a good man.
But wait, there's more? Ms. Johnson throws her hat into the ring, challenging Mr. Streety's homemade timeline with her version of events. She's adamant that the memory game isn't one of Mr. Streety's strong suits, insisting her side piece cameo happened only after baby Zeandre was already baking in the oven.
Are you done with your
Yes,
exhibit,
ma'am.
sir? Yes, please step back to the podium.
He made beats or he would help record songs with other people without a fee.
Oh, I thought you meant he was freelancing with other women.
I mean, his ex, of course. Like, he would leave my house just to see his ex and their child.
Just when you think it couldn't get more Maury Povich, Ms. Johnson owns up to mixing company, but sticks to her guns that it was post-conception. It's a plot thick enough to spread on toast, showcasing their relationship's twists and turns like a daytime soap opera.
So you say you were already pregnant, but you say you saw her with the other man before you realized she's pregnant. Take me to the point when she tells you she's pregnant.
I went over there to just go check on her. We just laying there. She's like, yo, as a matter of fact, I asked her, have you been with somebody else? She's always been honest. She said yes. I said, well, have y'all been sleeping together? Right here is where?
Nowhere
the
to be
same
found.
bed that me and
That
her
was
been laying in.
after I told
Are
her.
you kidding me?
And when I told him I cheated, that's when he decided he wanted to come back around and play dad or play house or whatever.
The intrigue peaks when Mr. Streety points out that baby Zeandre's complexion looks more guest star than series regular in their family show. He's convinced the mystery man Ms. Johnson was seen with might just have a more significant role in Zeandre's casting than previously thought. The climax approaches, and it's bound to be explosive.
I was sitting there in the hospital holding him.
So wait a minute. This is what I want to understand. How do we go from this picture of you in the hospital to Zeandre is now 13 months old, and you're saying you don't believe he's your biological child?
The reason why I have my doubts is y'all see a picture of him. Look at me and her. We both dark. That baby yellow. The person that I seen her with was yellow.
As the final pieces fall into place, you can practically feel the suspense in the air. And then, the moment we've all been waiting for, the paternity test results. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Streety, you are the father.
I told you.
Ms. Adams storms in, kicking the door open like she's about to duel at high noon in an old Western bar, and points at Mr. Spencer, declaring him the champ of being world's greatest dad to her cheeky but cute 13-month-old twins. It's a love mess so big it could make a TV drama writer jealous. There she stands, as sure about him being the dad as a cat is sure the sun exists just to shine on it. She's not just stirring the pot, she's making the courtroom feel like we're watching primetime TV, complete with snacks, shocked gasps, and a jury that's probably thinking they've stumbled onto a drama set. Buckle up, it's about to get wild.
Ms. Adams, you say you were caught in a love triangle, and now the defendant doesn't believe he fathered your 13-month-old twins, Kamarian and Kamariana. Mr. Spencer, you say the plaintiff needs to make up her mind about who her children's father is. You state that another man was claiming the babies were his.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, boom, we're flying high on the next twist. After a messy, ice cream eating, Adele soundtracked breakup with an ex, Ms. Adams and Mr. Spencer's hookup is as wild as Jell-O in an obstacle course. Their love's bumpier than a boat in a storm, leading to a dad mystery that's as addictive as a hit TV game show with a surprise ending. Thought you'd seen it all? Grab more popcorn. The fun's just starting.
Well, to be honest with you, I got caught up in a love triangle because I was with the same man for 13 years. I had separated. When we separated, I had kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like that. I had went out actually one day, you know, to the bar, and that's when I had met Marquis, things like that.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
Yes.
And then you broke up.
Yes.
Get ready for a shocker. Ms. Adams finds out she's hitting the jackpot in motherhood, expecting twins when Mr. Spencer was harder to reach than the top of Mount Everest. She dives in headfirst, betting everything that he's dad of the year. The plot twists up like a magic rope trick, turning this tale into an emotional maze.
Well, I had found out I was pregnant during the time that Marquis Spencer had went away. When Marquis went away, I had found out that same week that I was pregnant.
All right, the point you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told a family member of Marquis Spencer that I was currently pregnant and that I need to speak with him immediately.
So you told Mr. Spencer's family member?
Yes.
And you were confident at that time that Mr. Spencer was your child's biological father?
Yes.
Just when you're sure you've seen everything, in slides a twist that would make a TV drama jealous. The ex's family starts hinting the twins look a lot like Mr. Adams' old rival. This twist mixes the whole dad mystery up, making it part guessing game, part daytime TV drama, and totally nuts. And when you think you're catching your breath, the next shocker's about to whirl you around.
How did it get to the point where this become a paternity issue? How did we get here?
What happened, the way that my ex came into the picture is because once I had the babies, the pictures went out on the internet, and that's when my ex-mother called me and said that those are my grandbabies. They look just like my son.
And so once she said that, had you been thinking of that in the back of your mind all this time? Never.
Never.
The story veers off again when Mr. Spencer dives into the dad drama, shaking up his and Ms. Adams' relationship like a house of cards in a storm. Just a whisper of gossip and everything might collapse. But keep your snacks close. The biggest shocks are still to come, and they're mind-blowing.
It was like probably a couple months after I was away, you know, I've been going, you know, I talked to her, kept in contact with her the whole time, like her pregnancy or whatever, we talked, you know, here's how she wanted me to come home, be a family with her, stuff like that, you know. The communication was changing, like attitude was changing, everything. So I kind of knew it was like messing with Mitchell or is something going on, because you having an attitude more, like you ain't really keeping me up to date with these kids.
Boom, the truth hits like a movie's climax. Ms. Adams reveals she's been playing both guys like a pro, all to spark up an old romance. This confession unveils a deep game of emotional chess, showing just how wild this ride's been. But don't relax yet. The emotional roller coaster's just getting started.
Where are you in the story? You're telling both men now at this point is their twins?
After I had the babies, Marquis was around for the first month. Throughout that whole month, it was like so much drama. His ex, so much drama with him. It was like all over again.
Yes.
Because his mom called him. So he called me and was like, Christian, I'm hearing that it's a chance that those babies are mine. Is that true?
Now, for the heart-melting drama. Enter Ms. Jernigan, the grandma with a heart so big it could outdo the ocean, adding a depth to this crazy story that could win awards. Her role adds layers of family love and drama that pull at your heartstrings like the big finale of a talent show. As we head to the end, brace for an epic finish.
Jerome, will you please escort Ms. Jernigan into the courtroom? Jernigan.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, you are the mother of Mitchell, which is Ms. Adams' ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
And I have to ask you, do you believe these are your son's biological children?
Yes, I do. The first week that they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said, by now, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these pictures. Something ain't right.
And here we are at the zenith of our tale, the climax to end all climaxes.
Courage in the fact that in this moment we see this all the time, children getting used as pawns. Children getting used as pawns. We're gonna either get back with somebody or get back at somebody. You're admitting that you came in here today and you used your twins as a pawn.
Yes.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
Swivels in her seat, and Ms. Ball, without skipping a beat, admits to her globe-trotting escapades but stands her ground, declaring Mr. McCormick as Gavin's top-notch dad with the confidence of a cat meme. She's prepping the DNA results like a chef spices up a gourmet meal, cranking the drama dial to 11 and tossing in a habanero of intrigue into their soap opera saga. Brace yourselves, folks. It's about to get wilder than a raccoon at a camping trip.
Mr. McCormick, what do you mean she's a serial cheater?
Well, Your Honor, I found text messages. I've seen her getting into strange vehicles. I've seen videos. What haven't I found? There's no way that I could be this child's father. I'm starting to become numb to all this. It's getting old.
The plot thickens, and they're meandering down memory lane, waxing nostalgic over when their love was as fresh as morning dew, and the ultimate betrayal was snagging the last slice of pizza with extra cheese. This moment shines a light on Mr. McCormick's heartache, discovering Ms. Ball's adventurous side gigs, turning the emotional turmoil up to a tear-jerking level. But wait, there's more drama on the horizon.
I thought I had found the one, Your Honor. I was in love. She was good with my daughter. My family liked her. We like sports. We play sports together. I never thought she would cheat.
And I've admitted when I've cheated on you.
In a jaw-dropping twist, Mr. McCormick morphs into a private eye, laying out Ms. Ball's supposed secret meetups in an assortment of vehicles with a parade of suitors. Watching this unfold is like observing someone piece together a jigsaw puzzle blindfolded, emphasizing his detective work and uncovering the truth of their tangled tale. Hold on to your hats. The storyline's about to get thicker.
All right.
Okay, well, the first time, she said she was going to go to the gas station to meet a family member. I kind of stayed back, and then I was following her. I saw her getting to a truck of a strange guy. He was like 25 years old.
Is that you, or is that the strange guy?
That's the strange guy.
Okay.
I said, I saw her getting into a truck. I asked her who it was. She said it was another family member, which I know is like he's 60 years old.
Just when you think we've hit peak drama, bomb, the closet's doors fly open, unleashing a whirlwind of skeletons as Mr. McCormick unearths messages and snapshots hotter than a ghost pepper challenge. This sends the scandal levels soaring through the roof, painting a lurid picture of their lives, turning into a daytime drama fest. The upcoming shocker is something you'll need popcorn for.
So is there anything else?
There was a time I came home from work and there was a text message on the phone. I picked up the phone, pretended to be Miss Ball, and texted some sexual stuff. They texted back. I texted, can we do the same thing that we did the last time we hung out? And he said some things, and that's when the picture of the junk came through. And that's what maybe. So I know something was going on.
Oh, yes, something was going on.
I found some, pictures as well. There's some nudes, she said.
The narrative takes a deeply moving turn, with Ms. Ball stepping forward, her emotions on full display, ready to make peace for little Gavin's sake. Who might think his middle name is Scandal? Her impassioned monologue about marching towards a brighter future feels like a desperate cry for a narrative U-turn towards sunshine and rainbows. Yet, the emotional whirlwind has just begun.
You have admitted to cheating.
I have.
You said that. I have admitted it.
I've admitted the times that I was wrong. I think that because of the insecurities that I've created, that anything that he can't absolutely find an answer for, it creates doubt.
The point is, once you cheat, now that opens the door where we don't believe nothing you have to say. I mean, that's just human nature.
When I see him with Gavin, and you look at them together, you see a picture of them together, they're twins. They look so much alike.
As the climax looms, with the story inching towards its finale, the spotlight falls on Mr. McCormick, entangled in a whirlwind of feelings concerning his and Gavin's path ahead. The air is so thick with tension, you'd need a chainsaw to cut through it, showcasing the gritty essence of their predicament. Hang on to your seats. The grand finale is just around the corner.
If Gavin is not your biological child.
If he's not my biological child, I might have to leave. I don't know. I'm pretty attached to him, Your Honor.
If you don't quit doubting me, you are going to leave. You have a great relationship with him. You know he's your son.
I mean, I
and
do
all
love
the that needs to stop.
I love him.
If you love him, you're not going anywhere. He loves you. My little boy loves him, and I know he loves Gavin.
The climax hits you like a bolt from the blue, and bam, Mr. McCormick is unequivocally Gavin's dad. This bombshell revelation lands like a meteor, heralding a hopeful new era for their patchwork family, possibly peppered with group cuddles, and, dare we hope, a smidgen less melodrama. With this earth-shattering news, what's next could turn the tables on everything.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCormick,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are the father.
Thank you.
The saga begins with Miss Booker tossing a gigantic, glittery curveball straight out of left field, all about her so-called daddy dilemmas, courtesy of her mom's golden era of spinning a roulette of lovers like Mr. Booker, Mr. Chose, and possibly a few mysterious others. She's been giving the side-eye to her family portraits, puzzled over why she seems to be the ensemble's outlier, bearing an uncanny resemblance to Mr. Chose, as if she were his secret clone, rather than any blood of Mr. Booker's. This bombshell ignites a wildfire of long-buried family secrets and identity crises that have been festering since Miss Booker was just a wee lass, always questioning why she didn't quite fit the family mold. Just when you're convinced the story can't spiral any further into chaos, hold my drink, it does.
Ms. Booker, you say that since you were a young girl, your mother had always told you the man sitting next to me, Mr. Booker, was your father. Then, when you were 13 years old, Mr. Chauncey admitted he could be your biological father. Mrs. Chauncey, you are Ms. Booker's mother.
Correct, Your Honor.
And you admit you were in an open relationship with your ex-husband, Mr. Booker, while also seeing Mr. Chauncey.
Buckle up, because this roller coaster is just clanking its way up to the first drop. On a quest that smells distinctly of a daytime TV drama, Miss Booker, armed with nothing but sheer determination and possibly a handy detective kit, puts her mom, Eileen, and Mr. Chose under the proverbial spotlight. She's determined to solve the mystery of her paternity once and for all. As they navigate through a murky history of romantic entanglements and vehement denials, it becomes hilariously clear that Eileen's love life was more convoluted than a soap opera plotline. Miss Booker, powered by whispers of a mysterious adoption story from her siblings and confronting Mr. Chose with the fierce resolve of a primetime detective, dives headfirst into the tangled web of family secrets, unraveling them with the flair of a protagonist in a suspense novelle. And just when you think you've caught a breather, bam, a plot twist so shocking it'll knock your socks off.
My sisters would even tell me I was adopted all the time.
They would never tell you you were adopted.
Yes, they did, Mom. They told me all the time it was just a
No,
joke.
they did not tell you you were adopted.
Okay, Mom.
Well, I mean, you know, siblings can be cruel in that way anyway, but still, it probably would get under your skin if inside you already felt different. And there was also physical evidence that backed up their claim.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, strap in. Eileen decides to casually drop a nuclear-level family gossip bomb about Mr. Booker's adventurous proposal to jazz up their love life with a jaunt to a swingers club. This ill-fated escapade inadvertently catapults her into the arms, and possibly the bed, of Mr. Chose, her unexpected hero in this twisted tale. This bombshell revelation tears down yet another veil from the family's far-from-normal saga, proving Miss Booker's upbringing was steeped in more scandal and unconventional twists than the plot of a late-night telenovela. The drama skyrockets to stratospheric levels, preparing us for an emotional showdown that's sure to be for the ages.
How did you end up divorced from Mr. Booker and married to Mr. Chauncey?
Mr. Booker suggested a swingers club to try to fix our marriage.
A swingers club to fix the marriage?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Now, I did not want to do this at all. I had to get half drunk, to be honest with you, to walk into this place. But he said, as a last-ditch effort, Eileen, let's try it.
The plot thickens so much you could cut it with a knife. The zenith of drama is upon us as Miss Booker, fueled by a cocktail of raw emotion and an unyielding pursuit of truth, stages a dramatic confrontation with her mom over the labyrinth of lies that's been the cornerstone of their family lore. Eileen, armed with nothing but hard-to-digest truths, and the family's collective struggle to confront their own ghouls and goblins, turn the emotional heat up to inferno levels. This revelation-packed showdown lays bare Miss Booker's deep-seated wounds from a lifetime of deception, setting the stage for a climax that's bound to leave jaws on the floor. Gear up for a finale that's nothing short of cinematic.
But I would like for my daughter to finally know the truth.
And I
Okay.
just
It's been eating her
Miss
up for
Chauncey,
27 years. Yes.
as your daughter was growing up, told her Mr. Booker was her father.
Correct.
Now, was this because you had 2 other children with him and you didn't want her to feel like she was different?
And now, for the grand, tear-jerking, emotionally charged finale you never saw coming. The long-awaited DNA test results make their grand entrance, dropping like the hottest mixtape of the year, and lo and behold,
It has been determined by this court that Ms. Booker's biological father is Mr. Booker.
Sorry, Mom. Mom, I'm sorry for all the things I've said. I'm sorry.
The grand opening. Ms. Luttrell steps into the limelight, armed with a lawsuit and a dream to unveil the identity of her biological father after decades of confusion and a less than helpful mother. She's convinced she's hit the jackpot this time. And honestly, with a family tree that's more knotted than the headphones in your pocket, who could blame her for seeking some clarity? Strap in. We're about to dive headfirst into an emotional whirlwind.
Ms. Luttrell, you filed your case because you say after a lifetime of confusion of not knowing who your biological father is and receiving no help from your mother, you are now hopeful because you believe you have finally found your dad. Ms. Melody Luttrell, you say you are regretful that you cannot help your daughter in her search for her father, but hope that search ends today.
The air was so thick with tension, you could cut it with a knife. Emotional outpouring for DNA verification. Ms. Luttrell, with eyes brimming with hope, makes a heartfelt appeal to Judge Lake for a DNA test. She's desperate to connect with the man she believes, after a hopeful match on Ancestry.com, could be her dad. This scene was so poignant, it could make even the statues in the courthouse lobby start sobbing. The anticipation is cranking up, folks. We're inching toward the epicenter of this enigma.
Yes, I believe that I found him because I did a DNA test through Ancestry.com.
And you have never met him?
No, I've never met him in person face-to-face.
Are you ready to see him for the first time?
Yes, I'm really excited. I really would like to see him.
As the narrative unfolds, every blink and sigh is loaded with significance. The awkward yet heartfelt first encounter. There's not a dry eye in the house as Ms. Luttrell and Mr. Leeks meet for what could be the first time as father and daughter in the courtroom. Mr. Leeks is visibly moved, a tender moment that hits everyone right in the feels. It's the kind of scene that makes you momentarily forget that the courtroom likely reeks of old coffee and palpable tension. Buckle up, the game is about to change.
How does it feel to finally see the woman who believes she's your daughter?
Feels good to see her.
That's wonderful. So can you tell me about your childhood, Ms. Luttrell?
My childhood was pretty rough, growing up with my mom being a single mom, very hardworking single mom, and my whole life I always wanted to know who my father was, so.
Piece by piece, the puzzle starts to come together, yet the full picture is still elusive. Melody Luttrell's eye-opening testimony. Enter Melody Luttrell, the mom, spilling the tea on her past liaisons and the possible scenarios under which Ms. Luttrell came into being. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, with each layer revealing the 70s equivalent of a relationship status mark. It's complicated on Facebook. But keep your hats on, the next bombshell is about to drop.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the coworker?
Yes, we dated and we got familiar with each other, and then it ended up in intimacy. I didn't know how to contact them, and I had moved as well.
All right. You also say that there was a classmate. Can you tell me about your relationship with the classmate?
We got to know each other in class, went out, and it had ended up also in intimacy.
We delve deeper, and the plot thickens with each revelation. Mr. Leeks' eyebrow raising skepticism. Mr. Leeks raises an eyebrow, and our suspicions, questioning the odds of him being Ms. Luttrell's father, pointing out age gaps and a foggy memory of the event in question. His doubt throws in a dash of intrigue, turning the whole scenario into a whodunit with a side of amnesia. Just when you think it couldn't get any more bewildering, hold on to your hats because the narrative takes a wild left turn.
You are 15 years younger than Ms. Luttrell. Do you remember this party and this one-night stand?
No, I'm just looking at it right now thinking, okay, it's nice to meet you, but, no, I was not at that party.
Were you ever at a party having sex with an older woman?
No. You know, if I'm having a child or anything like that, if I even know there's a chance I'll have a child, I'm sticking around.
Every tidbit shared adds a new dimension to this layered saga, a chat about genetic connections. The conversation veers towards the supposed DNA link between Ms. Luttrell and Mr. Leeks, with Ms. Luttrell clinging to similarities in looks and musical prowess as evidence of their relation. It's a mix of hope, desperation, and a bit of whimsy. Oh, you like playing the spoons? Me too. Must mean we're related. It's not exactly grounded in science, but it's a leap of faith. Brace yourselves. The climax is up ahead, and it's not what anyone saw coming.
If I was partying that good, that must have been a good party. I mean,
when I contacted his family members, they told me that, you know, he had a wild history before, so maybe he was partying, and that's why they really thought it's a possibility that he was my father.
So when you connected with his family, they basically said he had some wild years and that it wasn't inconceivable that he could be your biological father.
The air crackles with anticipation as we approach the moment of truth. The big reveal, DNA results. The climax hits like a freight train when the DNA results show.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Leeks, you are not the father.
In the latest episode of As the World Turns, or rather as the drama unfolds, Ms. Sanchez has thrown down the gauntlet, claiming Mr. Guzman is playing hide and seek with paternity of their daughter, neglecting them faster than a teenager dodges chores. She's seeking the paternity test results and childcare costs, alleging Mr. Guzman has a VIP list that unfortunately doesn't include their child, as he drifts in and out of their lives like a bad Wi-Fi signal. On the flip side, Mr. Guzman, in a plot twist worthy of a telenovela, defends himself against these spicy allegations, accusing Ms. Sanchez of turning their love story into a mystery novel with a side of infidelity. He's even brought a witness to support his claim, turning the courtroom into the latest hotspot for drama enthusiasts. And just when you think you've seen it all, the saga takes another wild turn. Keep your eyes peeled for what's next. The drama is far from over.
Ms. Sanchez, you claim that the defendant, Mr. Guzman, plays a disappearing act when it comes to your child. You say he not only doubts he is your daughter's father, but he constantly puts other women before her and he drifts in and out of your lives. Yes. Now, today, you are seeking the results of a paternity test to try to get him to step up and act like a father and a real man. Yes. You are also requesting the court award $544.50 in child care costs for his half of your daughter's expenses.
Can your heart handle more twists? Did you catch that jaw-dropping moment? In a plot twist worthy of a daytime soap opera, Ms. Sanchez drops the bombshell that she's been multitasking in the romance department, taking seeing other people to Olympic levels. This revelation doesn't just thicken the plot, it turns the paternity question into a full-blown mystery novel, with Mr. Guzman playing detective. As the judge squints, trying to untangle this human knot, Ms. Sanchez defends her free-spirited love life, insisting the committed relationship box was never checked on her relationship status. The next reveal is poised to shake up everything we thought we knew. What's next might just redefine the word shocking.
Your Honor, yes, I have slept with other people and I have gave oral sex to other men, but it's not.
Oh, no big deal.
We weren't in a steady relationship, Your Honor.
Ms. Sanchez, you're saying that you had sexual extracurricular activities, we'll call them, but you weren't in a committed relationship.
No, he was sleeping with other people himself. He was in and out as he pleases. There would be a time he'd leave for a month and go love a girl and be in a steady relationship.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, brace yourselves for what's coming. Then there's Mr. Joe Guzman, stepping into the courtroom spotlight like a surprise guest star, with a tale of Ms. Sanchez's rendezvous at a party that sounds like it could have been lifted from a spy novel. According to him, she wasn't just grabbing a quick chat with another man. No, they were holed up in a room for what could have been a mini-series binge-watch session. The judge, however, isn't buying popcorn for this show, questioning the weight of this testimony given Ms. Sanchez and Mr. Guzman's relationship roller coaster. The intrigue is about to escalate, with twists that promise to leave us on the edge of our seats. The curtain's about to rise on an even more astonishing act.
I'd like to add that I went to a party and I witnessed her walk into a room with another guy. She
Why
went in
don't
the
you mind
room,
your business?
she
What
locked
I
the
do
door,
is
she
none
was
of
in
your
there for a good
business.
30, 45
What I
minutes.
do
You
is
know,
none
there's
Mr. Guzman, is it your testimony that you've witnessed Ms. Sanchez at a party walk into a room with another man for 30 or 45 minutes and then emerge during the time that she's supposedly in a relationship with your brother?
she said she wasn't, said that they were on a break, but when are they not on a break?
The drama intensifies beyond imagination as the judge lays into Mr. Guzman for turning their daughter's paternity into public debate club material. It's clear this isn't just about legalities, it's about a little girl caught in the crossfire. Ms. Sanchez, on the verge of auditioning for a tearjerker with her real-life woes, points out Mr. Guzman's cameo appearances in their daughter's life story. Amidst the courtroom drama, it's the emotional wreckage left in the wake of their battles that stands center stage, with Ms. Sanchez's tears as the heartbreaking close-up. And just when you think it couldn't get more intense, the next scene takes it up a notch. Believe me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. It's going to be epic.
I came from a family that my mother raised us herself. He came into my life as my best friend. When things were going on in the home, he would take me out. He was my security. If you can't do it, then let me know. Stop playing games with my heart and telling me I want to be a family man and then walk out on me and my kid. When he wants to come and be Mr. Family Man, it's okay. But then he sits there, hey, I'm not your daddy. He's turned to my daughter and told her.
In a courtroom, buzzing with more energy than a high school reunion, the DNA test results sizzle into the atmosphere like popcorn in a microwave. The judge, channeling the gravity of a monk hosting a game show, proclaims with a dramatic pause.
When it comes to 4-year-old Michaela Guzman, Mr. Guzman, you are her father.
I told you, and look at everything you missed out on.
Are you serious? I have to deal with her now? Oh,
you don't want to do anything.
I have one kid,
You
and
don't
I have
wanna do
another.
anything.
This is great.
We kick off with Miss Smith, spinning a tale of youthful infatuation turned life-altering event with Mr. Brooks, the unsuspecting defendant. She humorously details their fleeting Romeo and Juliet moment that inexplicably ended up in a less romantic setting, a motel room, leading to her pregnancy. She claims Brooks has been playing a game of denial, harder than a toddler playing hide-and-seek, refusing to acknowledge their son, Jimmy, as his own. Just when you think it can't get any more dramatic, hold on for Mr. Brooks' side of the story. You think this is wild? Just wait for what's next.
That your teenage crush on the much older defendant led you to becoming pregnant more than 2 decades ago. You say Mr. Brooks has denied fathering your son Jimmy ever since, and today you want to prove he is Jimmy's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, you claim you had no knowledge of this pregnancy or its resulting child until Jimmy was 12 years old. You say Miss Smith was seeing other men around the time of her conception, and there's no way you could be the father. Is that correct?
Correct. Hold on to your hats, folks. Mr. Brooks comes in swinging with denials as strong as a soap opera villain's alibi, insisting he was as unaware of the pregnancy as a cat is of fiscal responsibility. He challenges the claim with the skepticism of a conspiracy theorist, questioning how a single night of teenage folly could result in him being a dad, especially given Miss Smith's alleged romantic entanglements with others. The next twist? Miss Smith's side of the story gets even more complicated. If you thought this was a tangled web, the plot only thickens from here.
Well, she didn't want to go to the movies.
That's a lie.
She wanted to go straight to the hotel.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
That's how she wanted
That's
to
a
do
lie.
it.
Mr. Brooks, did you know this younger woman had a crush on you?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You're lying.
So why would you even ever ask her out?
Well, we were just flirting with each other, and I asked her, you want to go hang out? She didn't decide where she wanted to go at, so I said, well, let's go to the hotel somewhere.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, the tale takes a twist when Miss Smith recounts her discovery of being pregnant and her attempts to inform Mr. Brooks, who seems to have been as elusive as a unicorn at that time. She paints a picture of her efforts to reach him, including a bizarre mix-up where the courts declared Mr. Brooks as prematurely joining the choir invisible, sparking a comedy of errors only matched by a sitcom plot. But you won't believe what happens next when social media enters the scene. Strap in, because the drama escalates in ways you won't see coming.
He's lying, Your Honor. When Jimmy was 12 years old, we found out that Kevin Brooks was deceased.
Well, who told you I was deceased?
We went to court because I was
Who
getting
told
in the
you I was
military.
deceased?
The courts in where we was in Virginia ran that they have to have both parents involved before they could give any guardianship to another family member. So when I gave them Kevin Brooks' name and the court system had to run it through the system, birthday and all, it came back that Kevin was deceased. And Jimmy was 12 years old. I would go back and forth home to New Orleans to look for him because I didn't believe that he was deceased.
The saga takes an unexpected turn. After what felt like eons, Miss Smith decides to shoot Mr. Brooks a friend request on social media, reigniting old flames, or at least old debates. Their chats are a roller coaster of remember when and but what about Jimmy moments, with Brooks playing the role of Houdini, magically denying any ties to paternity or past entanglements. But the real shocker is yet to come when Jimmy steps into the fray. The next revelation is something straight out of a movie script.
Through social media, and Kevin did give me his phone number and I gave him mine, and we was talking about arranging to meet so his son could see him. And during all our conversations, be truthful about it, we was talking about, other things, about what if this wouldn't have happened when I was younger, how would it would have turned out with us if we would have been in a real relationship. And I did have feelings for Kevin, even though I didn't know him, but he's my child's father, so yeah, that conjured up some old feelings.
This story takes yet another dramatic twist. Enter Jimmy, sharing his side of the tale, which feels like a soap opera minus the evil twin. Growing up fatherless, he's been piecing together the mystery of Mr. Brooks, a man more elusive than a Bigfoot sighting. The climax? A paternity test showdown where Brooks pulls a classic sprinter move, bolting from the truth faster than Usain Bolt from the starting blocks. It's a tale of dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge when it comes to fatherhood responsibilities. The climax of this saga is just around the corner, and it's something you don't want to miss. The stage is set for a finale you'll have to see to believe.
I'm like,
what?
Are you tweaking?
Yes, he wanted to come to Virginia with us. And I was going to give him that opportunity just so he can have a relationship with his son and his granddaughters.
So, Mr. Brooks, how is it you can go all of these years without providing anything for your son, a child that could be your son, only to then turn around and ask him to provide shelter for you?
That's not true.
So that didn't happen?
That never happened.
The big reveal. In this nail-biter of an episode, the envelope of truth finally cracks open, spilling the beans that Mr. Brooks is...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brooks, you are the father.
I told you. I was a virgin.
You are the father.
Mom's like, she always looked out for me and made sure I was straight. I'm good.
This is what I want to ask you, bro. This is the thing. I'm your father. I just didn't appreciate going along with the lies like that. And we can put that behind us with all the lies. I ain't worried about the lies no more. You my son, all right? You received that?
Ms. Wilson accuses Mr. Phillips of infidelity and denying paternity of their daughter, Hope, and seeks a paternity test. Mr. Phillips counters, believing Ms. Wilson had an affair with a co-worker, Mr. Garcia, who he alleges is Hope's real father. The tension between their claims sets the stage for a heated courtroom battle. In an unexpected twist, the judge can't help but wonder if daytime TV has missed out on a golden storyline, as the courtroom turns into a scene straight out of a soap opera.
You believe the defendant, Mr. Phillips, was always unfaithful to you and still holds a flame for his ex-wife. Yet you claim he is the one who's always accused you of cheating, and he's repeatedly denied fathering your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
The couple's relationship foundation is revealed to be non-committal, starting from a purely sexual relationship which led to severe trust issues. Their relationship's beginning, characterized by a lack of commitment, seemingly forecasted the challenges they faced later on, including accusations of infidelity and the dispute over Hope's paternity. This moment emphasizes the shaky grounds on which their relationship was built. Meanwhile, their friends place bets on the paternity test results, turning the whole affair into the world's least appropriate gambling event.
We got together just having sex, and so when you build a relationship like that,
That's pretty together.
Yeah. Right. And when
so
you
it started off as a non-committal sexual relationship.
Correct.
Okay.
And when you build a relationship like that from the beginning, of course, you're going to have extreme trust issues. And so 7 years later, we never got over our trust issues. It was you couldn't go to the store without accusing. We couldn't go
someone else of having sex or doing something. So the relationship started with sex and it ended because of sex.
Mr. Phillips expresses his doubts about being Hope's father, citing a period of separation during which Ms. Wilson was allegedly unfaithful. A friend reports seeing Ms. Wilson being overly affectionate with another man in a club, which Mr. Phillips interprets as betrayal. This revelation adds a layer of complexity to the paternity question, highlighting Mr. Phillips's deep-seated doubts and mistrust. In a moment of dark humor, Mr. Phillips muses that perhaps a guest appearance on Maury would have been a more straightforward way to solve their paternity puzzle, contemplating the chances of hearing, "You are not the father."
We were separated at a point of time, and during that point of time, she led me to believe that I was the only man that she was sexually involved with. But she let me know she was doing the clubs and she was dating people, but she was not sexually involved with anybody. When one of my friends was inside the club with her, she was making love in the club. She was tongue kissing, she was grappling, she was going, to the 10 with a guy.
Making love in
the club. Tongue all in the mouth, holding down, just really improper.
So is that true,
No,
Ms.
it's
Wilson?
not true. I was kissing my coworker, but not making love. There's a difference. I think I would have been arrested for that, I'm pretty sure. Making love in the club.
She was
so
foreplaying
I
in the
was
club.
foreplaying in the club, yeah.
Ms. Wilson and Mr. Phillips discuss the possibility that Mr. Garcia, Ms. Wilson's co-worker, could be Hope's father due to their close relationship and physical resemblance to Mr. Phillips's biracial son. This segment reveals the intertwined personal and professional relationships that complicate the paternity dispute, shedding light on the emotional turmoil both parties experience. In a twist that seems straight out of a soap opera, the paternity puzzle adds another layer of drama to their lives, turning everyday encounters into episodes of Who's Your Daddy?
And you think he's the father?
Yes, I do. Because I have a son that is Mexican black, and
A
she's
biracial
identical
child.
to my son. They are twins.
So you have a child that's biracial.
Yes, I do.
And you say this child resembles your child, so it leads you to believe that this child is as well.
Because
that's his imagination. Even if I did sleep with the man in question, it was my business, not his. We were not together. And I just want to let him know that.
But,
All right, this court isn't about...
The narrative shifts to the couple's troubled past, including Ms. Wilson's provocative behavior and Mr. Phillips's admitted promiscuity, which sowed seeds of distrust. Their unconventional start, marked by a booty call arrangement and infidelity, underscores the dysfunction that plagued their relationship from the outset. This part of the episode reveals the depth of their personal issues, making the paternity test even more crucial for resolution. It's like they've accidentally signed up for a reality show where the prize is finding out who gets to pay child support.
I told him, of course, that I got pregnant, and I understand the way that he feels because me and Sam did work together. We stayed in the same apartment complex. We took trips together. So I understand, his concern. But
so that's your coworker?
That's my coworker, correct.
But you admit from kissing on him in the club, you admit to going on vacation with him, you admit to hanging around with him.
Yes.
You lived in the same apartment complex.
Yes.
The couple attempts to commit to each other after discovering Ms. Wilson's pregnancy, moving in together for a fresh start only to face challenges, including Mr. Phillips' unresolved feelings for his ex-wife. Discoveries of his ex-wife's belongings in their new home ignite further distrust, underscoring the difficulties of leaving past relationships behind and starting anew. This moment emphasizes the complexities of their attempt to form a stable family unit amidst ongoing personal baggage. They're trying to blend their lives together, but it's turning out to be more like a recipe for disaster than a smoothie.
And then what happened?
I was supposed to move back in with my mother, but my mother knew of his lifestyle and wanted me to completely just not have anything to do with him on that level. And so when my mother found out that I would still have something to do with him, she put me out. So when I was telling him that she put me out, he allowed me to come and move in with him. And then this is where everything gets committed and real.
Mr. Garcia's entrance into the courtroom introduces a new dynamic, as he denies being Hope's father and reveals he's gay, which, if true, would invalidate Mr. Phillips' suspicions. His testimony brings a surprising twist to the case, challenging the assumptions and accusations that have fueled the paternity dispute. This development adds an unexpected layer to the narrative, questioning the reliability of appearances and assertions made in the courtroom. Suddenly, the courtroom feels more like a daytime TV drama than a legal proceeding, with gasps, whispers, and the occasional "I knew it" echoing off the walls. Mr. Garcia's bombshell not only throws a wrench into the proceedings, but also has everyone reevaluating their office pool bets on the case outcome. The judge, trying to maintain order amidst the unfolding soap opera, can't help but adjust his glasses, wondering if he accidentally walked onto the set of a telenovela. Amidst the chaos, the court stenographer silently thanks the universe for her typing speed, knowing this is one story that'll be talked about at every family dinner, from here to eternity.
I'm gonna go up to the witness stand up there.
Hello, Mr. Garcia. Thank you for joining us today. We're here regarding the paternity of young Hope, Ms. Wilson's daughter. You were kissing in the club?
I was.
Were
We
you
weren't
kissing?
She was showing me how to kiss.
I'm a good teacher. I'm a good teacher.
And then...
And she really showed me how to kiss.
So you were at school getting a lesson?
That is correct, Your Honor.
You weren't really kissing her. It was a lesson.
Right. She was teaching me.
So your lips were interlocked
Yes.
in the club?
Lips, tongue, and everything. Yeah.
It was more than lips. It was tongue, actually.
You also admit to going on vacation with
We went to Vegas, yeah. We slept in the same room.
Do you love Miss Wilson?
No, she's a friend.
A close friend.
Do you believe that you're the father of her child?
I am not the father of her. Diamond is the father of the child.
The big reveal of the paternity test is like the final scene of a wacky sitcom. Picture this. Mr. Phillips is on the edge of his seat, the suspense is thicker than the plot of a soap opera. The drum roll, please, and bam.
When it comes to baby Hope Phillips, and whether Mr. Phillips or Mr. Garcia is her father, Mr. Phillips, you are her father. It seems as if these results really meant a lot to you. What are you feeling?
It's the best day of my life.
In a twist no one saw coming, not even M. Night Shyamalan, the courtroom drama of White v. White kicks off with Mrs. White's audacious move to save her crumbling marriage by proving Mr. White is indeed the superhero dad of their daughter Savannah, amidst a backdrop of scandalous infidelity. Grab your popcorn because you ain't seen nothing yet.
This is a case of White versus White.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah.
Yes, sir.
You admit you've cheated in the past, but once the results are revealed, your husband will trust you again.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the plot thickens and the suspense builds, Mr. White, with the skepticism of a detective in a noir film, questions the real MVP status of his fatherhood to Savannah thanks to the spicy extramarital salsa his wife was dipping into. He's teetering on the edge of calling it a quits, pending the dramatic drum roll of the test results. Spoiler alert, the juiciness is just beginning.
And as much as you love Savannah, you do not believe you're her biological father and are prepared to divorce your wife when the test proves your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, a divorce?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain.
I just can't be with somebody that's gonna constantly cheat on me and have me raised.
The saga takes on more loops than a roller coaster at Six Flags, with the courtroom becoming the stage for the airing of the White's dirty laundry, featuring Mrs. White's infidelity that started shockingly a week post-marriage, and Mr. White turning into Sherlock Holmes, uncovering his wife's escapades through neighborly gossip and the deep dark woods of social media. Brace for impact. The revelations are about to get real.
Doing the snooping on Facebook, seeing where his location was, looking through her phone, and then we got into an argument one night. He showed up, and that's when I knew there was something happening.
You just don't have any trust in this relationship.
No, because from a week after we got married, I'm catching her cheating constantly.
A week after you got married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have like abandonment issues.
Digging deeper into this soap opera, Mrs. White spills the beans on her cheating escapades, citing a void of love and affection, possibly a side effect of watching too many rom-coms rooted in her abandonment issues from being adopted. The plot thickens, twists, and basically does a quadruple axle as we glide into the next chapter.
Because you admittedly have been cheating, you've had to open this case to prove paternity of Savannah in hopes of saving your marriage.
Yes, our anniversary is in 2 days, so I want to make this right so we can better our marriage.
Raising the stakes to sky-high levels, the countdown to their anniversary puts the pressure on solving the paternity puzzle of Savannah. Mrs. White is on a mission to prove her husband's daddy credentials to save their roller coaster marriage. You're not ready for the twists and turns coming up.
I moved in with them after a month of being together. I ended up getting pregnant with our first child, and we ended up getting married, and everything just happened so quickly at 19 years old.
And so you got married young.
Yes.
In a plot twist that adds fuel to the fire, Mr. White drops the bomb with evidence of Mrs. White's continued adventures in infidelity land, featuring risque text messages and secret rendezvous plans with mystery men, shaking the very foundation of their offspring's paternity. The suspense is killing, and more bombshells are on the way.
And he said the only way I could come back into the house is if I was to admit everything and just be honest.
Take me to that day. I can't imagine happening.
I was hurt and I was pissed off, but at the same time, it was kind of a relief because I knew for a fact that it was actually happening. It wasn't just, oh, it's an assumption, I don't know for a fact.
Just when you thought your jaw couldn't drop any lower, the courtroom is hit with a tsunami of evidence against Mrs. White, including spicy photos flying around, deepening the canyon of trust issues in their marriage. But wait, there's more. Buckle up, folks.
I'm afraid to look, Jerome. So this says Happy Valentine's Day. How did you find out about this, Mr. White?
When on Valentine's Day, when I found the text message, I took the entire phone. That has all the pictures, all the text messages, all the calls, everything.
This next photo is a picture we can't even show. A male body part.
In a teary-eyed, nose-sniffling confession, Mr. White pours his heart out about his undying love for his kiddos and the Herculean struggle to leave the chaotic embrace of his relationship, all while dodging Mrs. White's manipulation grenades aimed at keeping him in the game. The emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
What are you feeling right now?
I just love her. She has what you would call, she aspirates. So when she drinks, she has to have it thickened, or half of it will go into her lungs and she'll get pneumonia. Difficulties than my other children. I just love her. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my kids. And I've tried to leave this relationship.
Throwing a curveball into the mix, the paternity of Mrs. White's bun in the oven comes into question amidst her confession of a February fling. Yet she stands firm on Mr. White being the father. Brace yourselves. The revelation will blow your minds.
Caught herself up in a lie because she just told us that she didn't sleep with him, but she just admitted to cheating in February.
I don't understand, why are you still holding on to the lies? We're here now. If you say you want to fix your family and you want to try to have your husband, your marriage, you gotta be honest. I have to ask you again. Did you sleep with the other man in February on Valentine's Day?
Yes, Your Honor.
In a climax filled with bated and bad breath, the courtroom's atmosphere is thick with anticipation as the paternity test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. White, you are her father.
As the screen flickers to life, we're catapulted headfirst into a saga of soap opera proportions. The curtain rises on the dramatic case of Casey versus Ewing, Edwards, and Hawkins, unfurling a paternity dispute juicier than a ripe peach at a summer picnic. Ms. Casey's, who spent her life under the impression that her father was the man named on her birth certificate, now deceased, finds her world rocked by Mr. Edwards' bold claim that he, in fact, is her real dad. Just when you think you're about to get a handle on this emotional ride, it does a loop-the-loop.
Miss Casey, you say that for more than 25 years, your mother has told you that a deceased man who is listed on your birth certificate is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now another man, Mr. Edwards, is claiming he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The atmosphere is charged with the kind of suspense you'd expect before the final showdown in a reality TV show. As Ms. Case takes the stage, she lays bare the soul-crushing journey of growing up fatherless, the existential crisis of not knowing her real lineage, and how this mystery has been a thorn in her side, messing with her identity and upbringing. Her heartfelt confession is more gripping than the season finale cliffhanger of your favorite series.
Actually, it been hell. Not knowing where I came from, I built a bond with Otis Hawkins, who's on my birth certificate, even though he's not ever been in my life. I do not know what the man looks like. I don't have a picture of him. I don't have anything about him, but he is on my birth certificate. My oldest daughter I passed Hawkins on to her. So I pretty much raised my kids the way that I have never been raised. I make sure that the mother and the father is in the home.
Ms. Ewing throws in a plot twist worthy of an award. She narrates her valiant attempts to bridge her daughter with the family of Otis Hawkins, only to stumble upon the bombshell that he was supposedly pushing up daisies. This twist not only thickens the plot, but drenches it in a layer of mystery and melancholy, proving that when it comes to family drama, truth is stranger than fiction. And just when you think you're piecing the puzzle together, someone scatters the pieces.
I called his cousin to see did she want to spend time with Laconda, and she informed me then that he had been shot in the head by his brother and he was deceased. Laconda was 7 years old. When I was told that, I didn't want to tell her until she got older. I didn't know how to tell her, and I'm telling you exactly what I was told.
The air crackles with tension as Mr. Edwards steps up, wearing his heart not just on his sleeve but practically on a billboard. With the passion of a Shakespearean hero, he declares his unwavering belief that he is Ms. Case's progenitor, citing eerie familial resemblances and a gut feeling that screams family. This declaration throws a wrench into the works, ensuring your guesses are as good as flipped.
I don't even understand how I can tell. It's like the hair stands up on my back. She looks so much like my family. She's got everything that my mom had. I got 6 other daughters, and my youngest daughter, I mean, if you look at her and look at her, you do.
They look very similar, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am, they look.
At some point, you hear from Mr. Edwards.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake, with the timing of a seasoned drama queen, drops the bomb that Otis Hawkins, long thought to be an ex-member of the land of the living, is actually alive and kicking. This twist not only sends the courtroom into a frenzy, but turns the case and Ms. Case's understanding of her family tree on its head. The collective gasp of the courtroom is just a teaser for the roller coaster of revelations ahead.
You've been told for over 25 years that Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive. And we found him for you.
Oh my
Mr. Hawkins.
God. Oh my God, Laconda, there's your dad.
In a crescendo of anticipation, the truths we've been salivating for spill out like the juiciest of gossip. The DNA results are finally here.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Hawkins is the father of Ms. Casey. Mr. Hawkins, you are not her father.
Laconda, in my heart, you still my child. I know.
Right out of the gate, Judge Lake bursts onto the scene, all business, introducing the high-stakes courtroom drama of Pace versus Fobbs and Randolph. There's Mr. Pace practically shaking in his boots, scared to bits about the thought of not being the bio-dad to Little Prince. He throws the gauntlet down at Miss Fobbs, accusing her of the ultimate betrayal, hitting the hay with his BFF, the other dad contender. And just when your jaw hits the floor, buckle up.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Pace versus Fobbs and Randolph.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Pace, you say you will be crushed today if DNA results reveal you are not biological father of your son, Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
You maintain that the defendant betrayed you by cheating with Prince's second possible father, your best friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can cut the tension with a knife as we plunge headfirst into the saga. Miss Fobbs, with a gulp, cops to her epic blunder of juggling the two gents, but crosses her fingers and toes, hoping Mr. Pace is the real daddy-o of her son. Mr. Randolph, the partner in crime and second daddy possibility, sheepishly acknowledges his part in this soap opera. Brace yourself, the plot's about to thicken.
Say you were caught between the man you're in love with and his best friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you say you're still hoping with all your heart that Mr. Pace is your son's biological father. Mr. Randolph, you're Mr. Pace's best friend.
Yes.
And the second potential father of Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the tale spins out, the stakes are sky high. Mr. Pace lays it all on the line, pouring out his heart about his bond with Prince and giving us the lowdown on how he and Miss Fobbs crossed paths and the drama that led to the baby bombshell. You won't believe the next twist in this saga.
I would say 3 relationships: the relationship that I have with Miss Fobbs, as well as the relationship that I have with Mr. Randolph, also the relationship that I have with Prince. So there is a lot on the line for me. That's my little man. We watch TV together. I'm feeding him cereal in the morning. He's like my real little buddy, and he looks up to me, and I don't want to let him down, basically.
The plot doesn't just thicken, it's practically congealing. Miss Fobbs spills the tea on her slip-up with Mr. Randolph, blaming it on feeling left in the cold by Mr. Pace's graveyard shifts. Yet, the soap opera is far from over.
Once we found that out, being that she wanted her own space, we ended up moving into another spot together.
So you were in a real relationship with Mr. Pace?
Yes, Your Honor.
When did this love triangle, this cheating, begin, and how?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a love triangle. The situation with me and Randolph only happened once.
Each moment is juicier than the last. The sordid affair surfaces during a spat, slapping Mr. Randolph with the potential daddy label. This revelation is marked by Mr. Pace's sense of betrayal and his surprisingly zen confrontation with Mr. Randolph. The suspense is building to a crescendo.
Basically, what we were arguing about was past. It was just me feeling neglected.
I do work a lot. I promote clubs and parties, so I am out and I am around a lot of, I would say, women, and she kind of takes that as me being unfaithful.
So were there trust issues?
At times. But not at the time that the situation occurred, no.
The face-off unveils shocking truths. The clash between Mr. Pace and Mr. Randolph unfolds, with Mr. Randolph owning up to the boozy blunder. Hold tight. What's coming will have you clinging to the edge of your seat.
We kind of all agreed, me and him agreed, that we definitely needed to find out what was going on as far as the DNA of.
Have you slept with Miss Fobbs?
Yes, I did.
And he said yes?
Strangely enough, he did say yes.
So, Mr. Randolph, I just have to ask, how could you sleep with your best friend's girl?
As the puzzle pieces start snapping into place, the suspense is torturous. The trio begins the baby face-off, scrutinizing Prince, Mr. Randolph, and Mr. Pace for any family resemblance. The upcoming twist is going to knock your socks off.
Pretty much exactly alike?
Little characteristics, forehead maybe, mouth, but
When you look at this picture, Miss Fobbs, do you see any resemblance?
No, I don't.
Do you see a resemblance to Mr. Pace?
Yeah, he looks like Byron Martin. He looks like Randolph.
I see my nose a little, as well as maybe my upper lip.
Despite the backstabbing, Mr. Pace, Miss Fobbs, and Mr. Randolph strive to keep the peace for the sake of Prince, with both would-be daddies still in the picture. But hold on to your hats. The real bombshell is moments away.
You, Mr. Pace, and Mr. Randolph, you all have tried to reconcile and keep your friendship despite this?
Yeah, correct, Your Honor. I've been knowing Mr. Randolph over 10, 12, 15 years almost. I don't want to say bros before, but I do want to say that I understand that men kind of have a bond that women don't have. So
the air is electric with suspense. The climax approaches with the unveiling of the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Pace, you are not his father.
My bad, bro.
So sorry.
Continuing on with the next result. It has also been determined by this court, Mr. Randolph, you are not.
In an absolutely electrifying moment that had everyone on the edge of their seats, the saga of Beto versus Bolton kicks off with a bang, complete with the judge's dramatic entrance and a courtroom buzzing with anticipation. Ms. Beto, visibly agitated, lays into Mr. Bolton for demanding a DNA test for their little one, Ileana, arguing that his quest for genetic confirmation has thrown a wrench into their previously blissful domestic bliss. Mr. Bolton, on the other hand, is a picture of desperation and determination.
Ms. Beto, you say you were furious when the defendant asked you for a DNA test on your 7-month-old daughter, Ileana. Now you claim that request has broken up your happy home. Mr. Bolton, you state you have reason to believe Ms. Beto's child may not be your biological daughter. You say you are desperate to discover the truth because you've already grown to love her as your own.
Yes, ma'am.
As the courtroom falls into a suspenseful silence, Mr. Bolton dives into a heartfelt monologue about his last courtroom drama where the verdict shattered his dreams of fatherhood to another child. He recounts the whirlwind whirlwind of emotions when Ms. Bitto announced her pregnancy, clinging to hope for a child of his own. But the plot thickens in the delivery room when a doctor, with the subtlety of a bull in a china shop, hints at doubts over the baby's paternity based on her complexion, igniting a wildfire of gossip and speculation about Ileana's looks. Dive deeper into this emotional quagmire with us, but brace yourself for the jaw-dropping turns ahead.
Not his father. Mr. Bolton, so what has happened since you were last here?
Since last time I was in court, I was very devastated to find out the news about the young boy not being mine. But in the same sense, I was happy because Ms. Bitto was pregnant with a child supposed to be mine.
The plot thickens even more as the couple navigates through a minefield of skepticism from everyone around them, relatives, pals, and even nosy Parkers, over Ileana's paternity, thanks to her fair skin and bright blue peepers. This relentless scrutiny puts their love on the line and fans the flames of Mr. Bolton's insecurities, despite Ms. Bitto's best efforts to calm the storm with reminders of their diverse heritage. Hang tight, because the tale is about to twist into even more captivating knots.
But that's what I'm saying. For the father, that can be overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming. You have to know your mate. And if you know that you have a loyal, faithful, loving woman, then anything anybody say,
so Mr. Bolton, did you know you had a loving, faithful, loyal woman?
I did, but that's the relationship. If you look at the baby's, man, the baby's white.
The atmosphere was electric with suspense as Ms. Bitto confesses to a fleeting separation and a mysterious rendezvous with another gentleman during a tumultuous phase, throwing Mr. Bolton's paternity doubts into overdrive. The drama intensifies with Mr. Bolton's haunted past of paternity puzzles and Ms. Bitto's passionate defense of her honor. Strap in for an emotional whirlwind that's about to get even wilder.
I felt like I was pressured, getting pushed to the point where I should cheat just to make you happy. Because this is what you're doing. You put pressure on.
That was your logic?
Yes, that was my logic, because every day she's saying, hey, you're a cheater, you're a cheater. So look, I cheated, I did, and I admit to that. She left. She wanted to go stay with her
Your Honor,
relative.
he didn't admit to cheating. I saw the texts from the female, all right, and I confronted him like a woman should. I'm gonna confront.
With each word spoken, the courtroom's anticipation reached fever pitch as the estranged lovebirds bring out a visual aids bonanza, comparing Mr. Bolton's and Ileana's features in a dramatic photo showdown. The relentless cloud of uncertainty and emotional chaos pushes them to a temporary split amidst declarations of undying love and commitment to Ileana against all odds. Prepare your heartstrings for an epic tug-of-war in the episodes to come.
If you felt like that, you should have been said that. You don't
Your
wait
Honor.
7 months later and then tell somebody like that. We're supposed to get married and everything. What you mean?
Yeah, but
when he told me that, we were in the bed, and the first thing he said to me is, oh, you know I love you, right? And then after that, I don't even know how we got to it. All I know is he was like, oh, I don't think she's mine. I want a DNA test. And yeah, I lost it, and I wanted him to get out. Yeah, you're right. I did kick you out, because I told him, either I'm gonna leave and go to my family, which is far from them.
As emotions surged like a tsunami, heart-wrenching testimonies from the distraught parents paint a vivid picture of their deep bonds with Ileana and the torment wrought by the paternity debacle. A tear-jerking video submission captures Mr. Bolton in tender moments with Ileana, underscoring his fervent wish to remain her dad. DNA be damned. The climax looms on the horizon, promising a twist you'd never see coming.
Time she got pregnant, the day in labor, hospital. I just really want to be a father to this child here. I've been there since day one.
Still.
I am, just because, yeah, my past, and you know.
And the last time you were in
like
court?
The signs, the last time I was in court, I mean, you know, came out, not sure. But the signs are there, so many people saying it. I need to be sure.
I understand about people's past. Everybody has a past.
The courtroom was a cauldron of suspense as the verdict unveils.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bolton, you are her father.
Your Honor, can I ask Ms. Bitto a question?